Yeah, like for our promos, we were, we wrote tons of sketches that will never be seen or whatever. But we're thinking about we did some promo videos before we launched the series. We did like some animation. This is very crude. So we can talk about the animation. We went through this is our third animator, right? So we went through a series of animators. The first animator was a friend, he was a friend, and
We good. We understand. We good.
yeah. So but we came with these sketches, and we like one of them. We had two guys playing video games, and Fat Cat is dominating Furious, right? And they're just going back and forth talking stuff. That came out of one of the sketches that we scrapped, and then we just pulled it out and was like, "Hey, this could be a promo." So to your point, yeah, that stuff it remains there, and we'd almost forgotten about it. And I think Pierre was the one like, "Hey, remember we talked about when they were like going back and forth saying bet, bet, oh, we could get." People loved that promo, right? It got so much engagement, even with the like crude 2D. I mean, it was just their mouths moving, right? Blah, blah, like that, right? And people still loved it. So yeah, I think at that point we knew we had something. You know what I mean? When they could see the spirit of it.
And I've been checked out all the episodes, and you can see a definite progression of quality, both in writing and the animation part too. Yeah. So I can tell, me personally, because there's things that I can pick out, be like, this is happening, right? But number one, you guys never asked me, but number two, I can see that you guys are starting to pick a lot of those things out yourself. Like something as simple as Furious. Like now you guys have him, like when he looks up and he's like, oh man, like his head actually moves back. Right. It's not always like rah, 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 and then
right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of really cool things that you guys are starting to pick up on and starting to run the ball.
Yeah, and that's a part of that is also what we're doing is very hard because our animator, shout out to Vanek Douglas, Vanek Arts, he's great. He's been our collaborator for the core from the King of R&B, Shallow, Lady Gaga Shallow, all the way through, Baba Wazi. And so us getting more familiar with each other, right? And he's in LA, he's out west. And so we're communicating. Actually, we need to do this more. But mostly it's like by phone, text message. Like, can you imagine? It's, the best artists produce like when people are there together, right? For that synergy. Right. Yeah. So he's a stranger. Pierre found him, and we've so what you're seeing is that progression as well, because he's really, really talented. And also we're limited based on our budget, right? And, you know what I mean? It can only be so smooth, right? It can only be, especially with one animator. I know you all can appreciate how difficult it is to do a 5 minutes of animation, right, by yourself, right? It's not a lot of our fans don't get that. Like we've educated ourselves. Like neither Pierre, we're the writers, we're the directors, the producers, but we've taken the time to learn the craft from to get perspective, right? So we can communicate. I've read all kind of books at this point. Don't quiz me on stuff, but we have. We did the job.
You understand, like quality versus time, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've had to suppress our writing ability to do this because, like seriously, like it's the couch. Like literally, you see us on the couch. We're minimal product because we can only do so much with three guys. You know what I mean? And so I even told Pierre, I'm like, look, write on your phone, because what it's going to do is it's going to if you write on your keyboard, you're going to write a 30-minute to an hour script.
I'm writing
cuts you down.
Draft. Don't use Wazi script. I wrote in Final Draft.
I was like, dude, I write them on my phone, man. Like just because it's just quick, it's easy, and it keeps it short, right? So that guy, we want to really, like Pierre said, expand the world. We want to introduce more characters. We want to, we want to do that, and so we'll see.
That's super interesting about you using your phone. Is it just because the whole texting nature and you thinking about what you write at the same time causes you to think faster and write shorter? You feel more comfortable on a computer, so you get into it too much and you get over wordy or whatever?
On the computer, I've written books. Like when I put my hands to this keyboard, I write 100,000 word books. You understand? So I had to reprogram my mind to be quick.
Yeah.
I've never written this way. Like I think great writers can write whatever, right? I've written nonfiction, fiction, sports articles, different things. So I had to train myself to write sketches. Not only sketches, like 5 minute, 3 minute. And so the phone, it's small, so it allows you just to keep it tight. I'm in notes. I'm literally hitting my iPhone notes. Blah, 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 blah,
wow.
blah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right, like that. And so we're not doing all the, interior day. We're not doing, we would do that. We have done that for our
cut twos.
Right.
Yeah, we're not doing, some of the cuts, but mostly it's just like getting out banging the dialogue out. It's really dialogue and character driven and just, doing it like that, man. So, yeah.
So
just learning all the time, constant learning. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to ask what gave you, because I know you got a whole bunch of different things going on. You're writing a lot of different stuff, but you said you had sent him a text like, let's do this. What was like the initial spark? What made you guys want to do this specific project?
It's a great question. So the year before, I'd given up. This is the truth. I'd given up and I was like, dude, it's not for me. So I created a nonprofit around literacy, and I was like, man, if I'm not the guy that's going to be known for selling a million books, I want to be known for the guy that gave 1 million books away to kids, right? Very naive, noble, endeavor, very naive. But created this whole nonprofit organization called Dream Reachers. The mission was to get poor families books 0 through 5, because those years are critical for literacy. Get kids books, because books are very expensive. Like you go to a kids bookstore, you can walk out with $100 with 3 books easy, right? So what about a poor family? So create this whole thing, and I had paid for a site, wasted money, paid for a site, did all these things like a donors choose type site, like thousands and thousands of dollars. So I needed to find a way to explain how the organization worked, and I wrote a script for an explainer animation. And this is when I recruited my friend. He's a comics guy. He's just stills. And I was like, dog, that's like 1920s. No disrespect to anybody that loves comics. Comics are great.
The record scratched just now.
No.
Charlie, let go of your heart.
It's like jazz. No, listen, it's beautiful. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong. Comics are great. What I'm saying is, like, if you want to, like, he had ambition, and I'm saying, like, expand. You can just expand, right? So I was like, I basically make SHIT move. Make it move, man. Learn how to make it move. And so literally he went from drawing to animating. And he animated the explainer animation, right? And when I saw we hired a professional voice actor, when I saw those characters on that explainer come to life, it was like eureka. It's like, oh, I can tell stories through animation. Pierre and I were always fans. I love animation, right? Like, so I was like, wow. Okay, so I don't need a DP. I don't need actors. I don't, the illustrator, the animator is essentially you all are the actors. You know what I'm saying? Like you create that's what planted the seed. And so I knew though that it had to be a minimal to get it off the ground. It had to be 2 characters, right? So for months I was thinking about what would be a cool story to tell with like just 2 guys, So I was throwing around. Then the names came, the personalities came, and then once I had it, and Pierre and I had already been talking about working together. Like we were talking about plays, maybe about Chicago, and we were throwing stuff around. It just didn't feel right. In the meantime, I'm thinking about this, and so when I had it, I wrote a few like sketches, see if it felt right, and then I had it. I was like, I called him right away that night. And literally that night, he came up with a voice memo. His son was into unboxings on YouTube.
Yeah. Is that the sexy one?
Yeah.
That's so sexy. Yeah,
He sent a voice memo that night. So it was like eureka for both of us, right? I told him about it, like, yeah, here's the deals, here's the details, da, da, da. And he was like, boop. And he sent me the funniest voice memo. Like, I was playing it over and over and then cracking up, right? Ooh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, So Sexy was like one of the first things, and it just, it just worked. So that's how it happened. It happened just by seeing the visual storytelling and being like, hey, I can do this,
Mm-hmm.
and it just progressed from there. And yeah. So